Everything looks good. Hello, this is Cat Alexander, and welcome to my weekly whatever stream of World of Warcraft. Well, we'll be playing WoW for an hour while I talk about random shit that occurs to me, even if it's not anything really that interesting. So, yeah. And, well, there's not much to talk about. Outside the fact that maybe, just maybe, next week, the pre-patch will drop, and I'll actually be playing retail again. So, yeah. That's the thing. That, and I've been leveling a warrior with my dad. Been healing on a shaman, I've been tanking on the warrior, and we've just been, doing stuff on the horde side in Classic because, well, why not? Nothing really to do. So, yeah. Well, I guess I'll just carry on and play. I mean, there's not much else to do. Oh, Windows 10 pop up. So, yeah. I know, it's just not much to do. This is funny. It's a fucking dead week. So, yeah. Oh, damn. Scratch. Oh, wait, there is something I could talk about. Yeah, it just occurred to me. Duh! I'm an idiot. I'm a Final Fantasy fan. I didn't even mention Final Fantasy 16. For me, it's just, I've talked so much about it over the past week that I forgot I didn't talk about it on stream. Yes, Final Fantasy 16 is confirmed. What I mean dead week? Good God. Brain fart there. It's like, yeah, Final Fantasy 16, it exists, it's a concept. They're going back to medieval times. I mean, duh. I mean, this is one of those cases when you just gush about something with your friends and family so damn much that by the end of it, you're like, oh yeah, I forgot. Oh yeah, I could actually talk about that again. Different audience. Oh yeah, I can talk to random strangers about this. Okay. But yeah, just one of those cases where it's probably going to be a PlayStation exclusive, and that's probably why I'm not as hyped, because, well, I mean, I'm not really in the mood to buy a fucking PS5. Or one of those new Xboxes. I don't really care about consoles that much anymore unless it's Nintendo, unless they offer something first party that I just absolutely have to fucking have. Because everything ends up on PC anyway. Combine that with the fact that Sony might go out of business in the worst case scenario by 2022. And everyone's saying 2022 because they're like, more details to be announced in 2021. They said more details to be announced in 2021. It didn't say, oh, it's going to come out 2022. Knowing Square Enix, we're probably thinking 2023, 2024. And by then, unless some Christmas miracle happens, Sony might be in dire straits, if not out of business already. So, yeah. I'm not holding my breath. Because PS5 exclusive, even if it's a temporary PS5 exclusive, sounds like it would be a system seller until you realize that most people are like, it's a Square Enix game. We'll wait for it to come out, and then if we have to buy a PS5 to play it, we'll buy the PS5 then. Not on launch. We're not buying a PS5 in 2020 to play a game that'll be like 2023, 2024, hell, maybe even 2025. The only reason I bought a PS4 Pro upon the launch of the PS4 fucking Pro is because I'm like, Final Fantasy 15 is coming out then on that system. If Final Fantasy 15 was like 5 years away, I'd be like, no, I'm not. Also, had I known that they were just going to break the series conventions and just, well, put it all on PC anyway over time, like they did with the Final Fantasy 13 trilogy and 15 around some of the same time, I'm like, had I known the Final Fantasy 15 PC port was going to be that fucking good, would I have bought a PS4 Pro? I honestly don't know. Not in that timeline. I honestly don't know. Would Kingdom Hearts 3 been enough of a system seller? That's assuming I had future knowledge, and well, if I had future knowledge, I would know about Sony's latest censorship BS, and that would have also swayed my judgment. Had I known about all of that? Probably not. I probably wouldn't have bought a PS4, to be honest. So yeah, it's just one of those things where, oh, it's a mithril deposit? I can't mine that. Oh, fire elemental. I need that. So yeah, I'm hyped, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, it'll be out sometime next millennium, knowing Square Enix. And by then, I'll probably buy it on PC day one anyway, because there's all exclusivity agreements die upon the death of the thing you signed the exclusivity agreement with. Now, if Final Fantasy 16 was coming out on launch day of the PS4, that'd be a different story. I'd be tempted. But it's not. And by the time it does come out, they could just put it on, well, literally any other system if Sony goes out of business. So, for the consumer, I hate to break it to you, but for the benefit of the consumer, for Final Fantasy 16 to just be multi-platform on launch, so as many people as possible can play it, they can actually have increased sales and shit. I'd rather Sony just got out of business. I'll just say it. Fuck Sony. I know it sounds rather callous to say, but there is no benefit for me at this point for Sony's continued existence as of this stream, and there are plenty of upsides to them going out of business in the near future. So I'm definitely gonna not buy a PS5, because I mean, why would I buy a fucking PS5 if I get more value by not buying the PS5 and watching the Titanic sink? It sounds rather cruel and savage, but I mean, what? Okay, Sony's first-party offerings. Let's look at them. We have the Naughty Dog shit, which The Last of Us 2 was a fucking disappointment. Okay, who wants The Last of Us 3? No one at that point, right? No one would buy it, so why would they make it? They could make another Uncharted game, but the license is owned by Naughty Dog, and no one trusts Naughty Dog anymore to make a game because of The Last of Us 2, so same reasoning behind The Last of Us 3. Another Uncharted game is pointless. Okay, so what does Sony have to draw on? What first-party licenses could they draw on to sell the system? God of War. But is God of War a system seller? For some God of War fans, like, probably, but are there enough of them to sell the system and keep Sony afloat? That's always the question. It's the same reasoning behind the Dreamcast. Sonic's a system seller, so... You know, it's like... Of course they're gonna buy the fucking Dreamcast. Why not? And then Sega's last console, it ended up being Sega's last console. My point is, just because something is good does not mean it's good enough to save you from a financial decline, you know? Not every game is a Final Fantasy 1. Not every game can just save your company from near financial ruin. Not every game can pull you back from the brink. And I don't think God of War has enough of a pull to do it. Sure, God of War 4 sold like hotcakes on the PS4, but people bought it because it was there. Did they buy a PS4 to play God of War 4? That is the question. How many people bought a PS4 to play God of War 4? I'm not sure anyone really did. Okay. I'm not sure if... I've never heard anyone going, oh, I need to buy a PS4 to play God of War fucking 4. I heard countless people going, oh yes, I need to buy a PS4 to play Final Fantasy 15. This is going to be awesome. But I've never heard them say that about God of War. Ever, really. That's the thing about Sony. The third-party titles that were exclusive to the system that sold it back in the day. Even the PS2, I mean, no one was like, oh yes, this new God of War franchise. I've got to play it. I've got to buy a PS2. Everyone was more like, oh yes, Final Fantasy fucking 10 and 10-2. I've got to play this, you know? I've never heard of a Sony title outside of diehard Sony fanboys being panned like that. And I know what some people would say, well, there's probably a lot of Sony fanboys, just like there are a lot of Mario fanboys and Zelda fanboys. And I'm like, yes, I get that. But how many really? New Mario game gets launched, even if it's a crappy port of, well, Mario 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy packaged together for $60. People are drooling over that. God of War 4 gets announced, and I'm like, oh, God of War 4 is released. Yay, everyone's playing that. Everyone seems to be playing that because they have a PS4. But I never heard anyone going, oh, God of War 4, I've got to play. I've absolutely got to play this. I don't have a PS4, but I'm going to buy one for this one game. There are games that can do that, but like Final Fantasy VII was one of those back in the day, funnily enough. That's what sold the original PlayStation. It wasn't anything Sony made. So the question I have to ask is, does Sony's first-party titles have the pull necessary to get people to pre-order or even outright buy a PS5 eventually? If God of War 5 was announced and the PS4 wasn't bought because no one really saw any reason to buy a PS4, would sales go up of the system, or would only the people who already owned a system buy the game? Because that's the thing. There's a difference between a system seller and a game that just sells on the system, that's exclusive to the system. And I'm not sure God of War counts as a system seller. This could be my own bias getting in the way because I'm just not that big of a fan of God of War. Who knows? Maybe there's like a fuck ton of God of War fans. I'm just not in the right circles on the internet for some reason. Like someone who's like, yes, I've got to have the PS5 to play God of War 5. it has to be done or something. I'm like, I'll believe it when I see it on that one. It could happen. A gamma ray burst could also happen. It's still in the realm of possibility, but I'm not going to lose sleep over a gamma ray burst. That's the thing. I'm just, it could happen. I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying that, it would be a bloody fucking miracle for Sony if that's what happened. Because this is the first time they're in a bad position upon launch of their system. Like a really fucking bad position. Where it's do or die, or they just lose fuck tons of money and potentially go out of business in the worst case scenario. And they have a actual mainline God of War title that they could potentially draw on. I mean, they could make God of War 5. I don't know how God of War 4 ended. I don't even really care. It's just, and to be honest, I find it hard to believe anyone really cares. It's just, I get it. People like the shit they like, and not everyone's me. But if not everyone's me on this, then why is there just, like, no hype for such a possibility? People are more hyped about Final Fantasy 16 and more willing to buy a PS5 for Final Fantasy 16 because they just gotta have it day one instead of waiting a year. Because, and even then, is that enough? Is Final Fantasy 16 enough to draw in the crowds? I mean, it's not enough to convince me to buy it. And I'm a Final Fantasy fan. Not because I hate the game, it's just because I don't like Sony. For all the people that Sony has pissed off recently, can they pull it in? Combine that with, like, Xbox Game Pass, which is, like, ultimate normie bait. Look, a fuck ton of games for an affordable price. Value, buy, consume product. I mean, I just don't see Sony pulling out that many sales. I mean, as I said, it could happen. It could fucking happen, but I'm just... my mind is having a hard time wrapping around the concept, okay? I put my mindset in the shoes of a fucking normie who just plays games and doesn't really care about franchises or lore and anything, just like playing games. And I think, Xbox Game Pass, more games, therefore better product. Buy new Xbox. Fuck Sony. And then I put myself in the mind of, you know, a fan of certain games, and I'm just like, that might be system sellers due to their temporary exclusivity, and I don't see it either. Outside of first-party titles, outside of actual Sony titles, I can't think of anything that would potentially draw in people, and I don't see it being enough people. And that's okay. I mean, the Wii U didn't sell like hotcakes, but Nintendo's still around. But that's the thing. Nintendo has money. Sony needs money. They don't necessarily have money running out of their yin-yang. They don't have like a fucking money tree to draw on. They're not a really old company like Nintendo that's been around since the late 19th century, if you look at their history. Sony's a bit more recent, and doesn't nearly have as much buku bucks as Nintendo to draw from. Nintendo can afford one flop, or worst case scenario, two. Thankfully, the Switch wasn't a flop. I don't think Sony can. I think Sony's in the same position as Sega. They can't afford a flop. And I just don't see God of War by itself being enough. And I can't think of any other titles that, first-party titles that Sony makes that just grab me, that just grab people and just make them go, oh yes, I need this system. I think they're in this kind of the same boat as Sega. Okay, your titles are kind of cool, but I mean, the PS2 has a CD drive, or in the case of, you know, the Xbox, oh look, they have a Game Pass where I could just download a buck ton of games and pay a monthly fee and shit. Your PlayStation Plus is like a shadow of that. I'll just go buy the Xbox. Or I'll just play on my Switch. Or I'll just wait for shit to come to PC. You get what I'm saying? I don't think Sony has the pull. Even with Final Fantasy, Sony does not have the pull. Because for every person who's like, yeah, I need to buy this console, that way when it comes out, when Final Fantasy 16 comes out, I can play it a year before all the other people who are waiting for the PC version. And I'm like, yeah, but for every one of those, there's like multiples of me who are just like, okay, I love Final Fantasy. I'll wait for Final Fantasy 16 to come to PC. When it inevitably comes out, if Sony somehow survives. I'm good. I don't need to buy a PS5 right now. Even if Final Fantasy 16 was like a 5-year fucking exclusive to the console, and like I'm 5 years behind everyone, and I have to buy a PS5 and I want to play it sometime this fucking century, I still wouldn't buy a PS5 on launch because I'm like, okay, Final Fantasy 16, X amount of years from now, and nothing else, really? Okay, I'll just wait. That's my point. They don't have anything right now that makes me go, I need this system. And right now, based on their current stances and the current stupid shit they've been doing, they have a lot of shit on their record recently that makes me go, you know what, in actuality, I don't need this system, because by the time the game I want to play comes out, you'll be out of business, hopefully, and then I'll just play it on my PC. So yeah, fuck you. Sorry, I mean, that's pretty much my stance. Like, I can't think of any way they could convince me to buy a PS5 outside of a new Legend of Dragoon title. And I don't think that's going to happen. I don't see it. And even if it does happen, it'll probably never get out of development, because that would mean they're fucking desperate. Because let's be real here, I mean, they're like, we're not gonna make another one, we saw it as a failure and shit, even though everyone and their dog fucking liked it. So we're not making another one. So, we're talking about a scenario where Sony realizes they can't just be cocky and they can't just potentially censor shit with their new draconian censorship policies, and that they can't just rely on God of War, which is the bigger system seller in their minds. My point is, by the time they ever potentially announce a new Legend of Dragoon title, they're almost dead. And by the time it comes out, they're dead. I'm sorry. I mean, the game I want is never going to be made, or if it is going to be made, it's never going to be fucking finished because it'll be out of business by the time they actually get off their lazy fucking asses and give me what I want. And yes, I'm salty, but it's the truth. I mean, they're a business. A business gives the consumer what they fucking want. If you don't give them what they want, they go to someone else. It's just how economics works, people. I mean, come on. You want me to buy your piece of shit? Give me something worth sinking my teeth into. Otherwise, shut the fuck up and accept your irrelevance. That's pretty much what I would say to Sony. Like, look, you want me to buy your piece of shit? Put something on it I care about. That isn't a timed exclusive. And I know, sounds selfish and entitled, but it's the truth. I mean, I'm not gonna buy something just because, you know, a company might go out of business. If I don't, I mean, come on. That implies the company has something I want, and I want to keep it around. And if they don't have anything I want, then why would I keep them around? Yeah, it sucks with a handful of people who really like God of War, but if they're not enough to save Sony, that's Sony's problem. I mean, that's the thing about game licenses. Someone could actually pick up the God of War license and who knows, maybe do it better than Sony if they go out of business. So even the hardcore God of War fans that are like, consume every God of War game, aren't necessarily losing anything if Sony goes out of business. Same thing with the Legend of Dragoon. My vain hope is that they actually go out of business, and Square Enix or Atlas buys the license for dirt cheap because it's just one game, and I actually get what I want eventually. An actual Legend of Dragoon game that's modern. But I'm not going to get that with Sony still around because they don't want to make it. When a company is just holding IPs hostage and refuses to do anything with them, and they double down on the IPs no one really cares about outside of a few hardcore fanboys, the inevitable result is destruction. Because no one's going to give you money for nothing. It's just business. So, yeah. It's a harsh thing to say, but I mean, if Sony somehow survives this, I'll be surprised. And probably slightly dismayed, especially if I still don't get what I want. I'm pretty much the equivalent of that vulture circling the guy in the desert who's starving for water. Starving for food and water. His body is just drained of everything and he needs water and food now or he's gonna die. I'm that vulture. I'm like, ooh, good shit happens if this dude dies. I'm gonna circle him. And it's a harsh thing to say, but that's pretty much the position Sony's in. So many people actually end up being benefited if they just go out of business to the point, and there's no real tangible benefit to actually buying the console, that I don't see the normies buying the console, and I don't see the hardcore fans giving a shit anymore. Outside of the first-party titles, and even then, I mean, God of War. Okay, maybe God of War's enough, but Sonic is cooler than God of War in my mind, and it wasn't enough to save the Dreamcast. Sonic was part of a part of the public consciousness. Sonic has a fucking movie that made bank. And now let me put this, and it was not enough to save the Dreamcast. What does God of War have? What could they possibly have to draw in the crowds? I don't see it. Just no way there's that many God of War fans. I'm not even sure there's a God of War game on launch. There better be, because it's their only shot at survival. I mean, if there isn't, damn, rip Sony. What could they possibly have of value on the PS5? I mean, okay. Hell, after I kill this ambusher, I'm gonna look it up. I'm just curious. I want to know right now. Is there a God of War game on the PS5? I'll just stand here on this hill so I don't die. Is there a God of War game? Okay, there is one. In 2021. When in 2021? Out of curiosity? It says 2021. It doesn't say a date in 2021. For all I know, that could mean December 2021. I mean, yeah, I hate to break it to Sony fans. That's not enough. Definitely, I mean, best case scenario, January 2021. The system comes out this year. Yeah, I think Sony might be done for. Well. Shit. Rip Sony. Not even really a console war thing, it's just me asking, okay, who's gonna buy a damn thing? Yeah. Well, that sucks for Sony fanboys. The PS5 might be their last system at this rate. Well, shit. How unfortunate. Or how fortunate, depending on your perspective. In my case, it's, how fortunate, how fortuitous. Sony didn't double down on the only franchise that people actually still care about, that most people think of as a Sony exclusive. They didn't release one on launch. Well, sucks to be them, they're dead. Yeah. Pretty much how I look at it, I'm like, did they, like someone asking, it's like, oh, there's a mage. They got hit with everything. Did they ice block? Nope. Oh, well, they're dead now. Have a nice day. And I need to bandage up because ow, 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 ow. Hot. Yeah. So much for Sony. Okay, Enchanted Gaia Seed. Plant the seed. Time to regrow the forest just in time for Cataclysm, where Garrosh's army burns it down again. Ah, some nice music. Uh-oh, Storm Witch. Uh-oh, Rogue Feather! Retreat! Harpies! The Harpies are gonna get me! Come on, I can make it. Well, yeah, that's pretty much all I have to talk about. Sony's potential impending doom. Rather cruel, but I mean, it is what it is. That's reality. Mercy is for the weak. And anyone who still thinks they can potentially win isn't weak. They have the strength of will, and therefore they get no mercy. And when they get destroyed for their hubris, they get destroyed. It's just how it works. Like this elemental. 2 levels higher than me. Thought he could win. He couldn't. He died. Sucks to be him, but that, again, just how shit like that works. Not just in video games, but real life. You only have so many chances. The Jem'Hadar said it beautifully in Deep Space Nine. Victory is life, because you lose too much, you lose everything. That includes your life. It's just the games everyone plays. Whether they want to play it or not. Whether they enjoy it or not. The only way out of the game is to lose everything. To lose your shirt, so to speak. Not, and some people realize that and just end themselves, unfortunately. They can't take it. Others, they realize that in the end death comes for us all and they just keep playing. They keep playing until they go bust. That's just life. Sad but true. For Sony, I'm not sure they have much resources left. And they didn't take the all-in gamble. They went with the certainties. The thing is, if you just keep losing every fucking hand, little by little, bit by bit, you just run out of chips and then it's over. Sometimes the only way to win is to not play it safe, to risk it all. To go in there with a big fucking dick, metaphorically pull everything, and go out in the worst case scenario, go out in a blaze of glory. They didn't do that. They thought they had a tomorrow. That's their mistake. When you're that low on HP, you don't act like you have another round. You either heal, or if you can't heal, you spam that motherfucking Ultima and hope for the best. You don't just cast a level 1 fire spell and say that's good enough. That's how you die. All or nothing. They didn't do all they could, and if I'm right, they're about to get nothing. I would say GG, but not really. There's so many things they could have done better. Wasn't like they were dealt a losing hand and played it the best they could. It was more along the line of they had a winning hand and they threw it all away. Now, I don't feel sympathy for those types of people. They were winning so damn good in the PS4 era, and then they threw it all away. Flushed their future down the toilet. Even without Legend of Dragoon, they still had something going for them, and then they were like, nah, let's destroy that too. And now they lose. You know what I find funny? In Japan, from what I hear, 4 is considered an unlucky number. And yet there was no problem with Final Fantasy past 4. The series just got better with age, in my opinion. In other words, I'm saying superstitions like that are stupid. They have no basis in reality. But for Sony, it does, and weirdly enough. Rather comedic. Their 4th console was their downfall. Yeah. Whether that downfall is slow and steady or abrupt and painful, it's a downfall. They're going down. I mean, whether you think they're going to go out of business or not, you can't argue with the fact they're going down. I mean... oh well. That being said, going down isn't necessarily the end. A skilled individual can pull themselves back up. Will Sony pull themselves back up? I don't believe they will. Yeah. The first step to curing a problem is acknowledging you have a problem. I mean, that's the reason why Shadowlands, despite all the Covenant BS and them doubling down their stupid design philosophy once again, is still better than BFA. They admitted they had a problem. They realized they have a problem. It's just, their problem is their pride. And, well, pride is not easily overcome. But it's easier to overcome your pride if you know you have it, and that you thought you could pull something off when you actually can't. That's the thing. I mean, Shadowlands may have a bit of a rocky start when it comes to the balance, but I have a feeling they're going to pull out a win, because all it takes is one more humbling, I think, and they'll finally be truly humbled. Blizzard will finally realize that they have to listen to the player base, and for good or for ill. Sony has yet to realize what their problem actually is. They're just going on like everything's normal. That works if you have cash in the bank and you can afford a failure like Nintendo. I mean, they had no idea how badly they fucked up the Wii U until after the Wii U, and then they doubled down the shit that made them money because, of course, I mean. But the reason they could do that, the reason they survived, is because they had money in the bank. Well, I understand Sony is running low. They don't have as much money in the bank. As even, well, to be honest, I don't know how much money in the bank they really have. I hear it's dire straits, but how dire is what I'm thinking. Again, after I do these quests, I might and maybe even after the stream, I'll look it up and see. I'm just curious. How badly are they doing? I heard they were doing bad, but how bad? How fucked could they potentially be? That is a question. In other words, I'm saying, how much HP does the target have left? That's pretty much what I'm asking. How much HP does Sony have left? Can they afford this hit? I mean, I don't know. Maybe it was over-exaggerated, unfortunately. On the other hand, maybe it's worse than I thought. In which case, I mean, really, I have to ask, what the fuck are they doing? It's like they want to die as a company. Hey! I mean, if they want to go out of business, I mean, who am I to argue with them? I'm just the type of guy, I'm like, okay, you want to jump off that bridge? You do realize life is fun and worth living, right? Yeah, but it's not for me. I want to jump off the bridge. I'm like, okay, I told you not to do it, but I mean, if you're still going to do it, I can't stop you. Go ahead, jump. I don't care. I really don't care. I told you not to do it. I told you it's bad. I told you life's worth living. What more do you want me to say? It's not like I could stop you. It's not. It's like, I mean, even if I could stop you, I mean, like, how? Reminds me of that one incident in Texas I heard about years back where this one person was suicidal and the police killed him because he had a gun. I mean, oh, no, man. You're not killing yourself. We're killing you, okay? No. Suicide's wrong. We're gonna kill you for that. It's Texas. I mean, seriously. End result the same. The only way to stop someone from killing themselves is to shoot them dead. I mean, just let them do it. What's the point? It's not like it's not like police officers get points like in Call of Duty. They'll get rank up for the more people they kill. I mean, come on. If anything, if they were getting rank ups, it would be for keeping people alive. That's their job. So, I mean, just don't do anything. I mean, why? Never understood that. Oh, crap. I'm so dead. Oh, level up! Clutch leveling! And I'm probably still dead. Because that one got pulled. If I somehow pull out this win because of a clutch level up, that's how you do it. Victory is life! I can still do this, potentially. I just gotta get some distance. Uh-oh, the tree. I pulled the tree. It's over. But that was fucking amazing! Fucking amazing! Level up! Level 25! Ah, my shoulders are yellow. If I didn't pull that tree, I theoretically could have lived. Oh well. Huh. Before I look up the Sony financials, I need to look up the Protection Warrior spec I'm using while leveling. So I can be a more efficient tank. And not just put points in random spots and just look like a scrub. Huh. Well. But yeah, it's just one of those cases where, you know, it's like when I started to stream, I'm like, there's nothing really I have to talk about. I think I've talked about everything. I'm like, oh yeah, but I talked about this with other people. I haven't talked about this on stream. Oh yeah, Final Fantasy 16. Duh! But yeah, that's pretty much my mindset on all of this. Sony is gotta go, and they're probably going to go pretty damn quickly if I'm right. If I'm wrong, oh well, I've been wrong about shit before. What else is new? No, seriously, what else is new? That isn't new. Come on. Gotta get back to my body. Come on. I need to respawn. Come on. I can make it back to my corpse. Oh, yeah. Another thing I want to talk about in WoW lore. Another thing that occurred to me that I've already talked about. They finally have a plot explanation for why you just don't die as an adventurer in WoW. Where our soul is inexplicably tethered to Azeroth the Titan, and as such, she doesn't allow us to die, I guess. Which adds a bit more context to the line in 8.3 about, you're not just a hero champion, you're a champion of Azeroth, you can do this, fight the do the Alex Jones thing, break the conditioning, the Zoth does not own you! You get it? I mean, was that because of our will, or because Azeroth intervened and saved us at the last moment? I mean, I had no idea when he said we were the champions of Azeroth, it was that fucking literal. But I guess it is. Interesting. Time to plant a seed. I thought we were just simply champions of the Titan chosen by the speaker. I didn't think there was some sort of, ooh, we were chosen by destiny shit, even in vanilla, that we didn't know about until now. But yeah, that's an interesting thing. Interesting BS excuse for just getting your corpse every 5 seconds after dying over and over again to BS and classic. Whatever, I'll take it. I'll take whatever BS lore excuse I got for that. Well, I mean, when someone asks, like, can you explain to us why we're not in the Shadowlands, considering how many times we fucking died over the years? Blizzard did. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, what more do you want? Oh, was the explanation so damn narmy and not good enough? Well, sucks to be you. Don't ask for things you don't actually want. That's the moral of the story. If you didn't want an explanation in the lore, then don't ask for one, because sometimes the explanation is just not the one you want. Okay, plot warrior spec. And 24, I'm at 25, 25 to 40. Where do I input points now? I have input points there, there, and there. So the points they want me to input are in Improved Blood Rage, Improved Taunt. Improved Taunt would be good. One-handed weapon specialization. I mean, I don't know, call me crazy, that sounds good. Concussion Blow. And Shield Slam. Oh, and improve Sunder Armor. Ah, okay. I get what I'm supposed to do. Oh, crap. What's attacking me now? You bastard. Seriously? You just had to try and shoot me in the back of the head while I'm trying to figure out something. Worthless creature, I'm trying to think. Die already. Good, thank you for dying. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a talent point to input, you annoying creature. Under protection. Improve taunt, improve Sunder Armor, improve Blood Rage. Okay, improve taunt. Better taunt. There we go. Now let's look up something more interesting, like whether or not Sony is fucked next year. Okay. Too much shit to read. I'll read it off stream. But yeah. Well, time to kill these harpies. Damn thing didn't move over the way I wanted it to. Okay. Well, I'll finish off these quests and then end the stream. Get over here, you annoying buzzard. Oh, great, I pulled you back and your friend just keeps coming. Fucking harpies. Take that. Thunder armor. Ah, great. Something's coming for me. And it's the mob I don't need. Looted Scoot. Retreat. Come on, de-aggro, you buzzard. Come on, seriously? Stop going zappy on me. Oh, crap! Another one's been aggroed. Ah. There was nowhere to go. I was cornered. I'll just res in the graveyard. And harf to Thunder Bluff. And then end the stream there. Where I'm not being jumped every 5 seconds and I can fucking talk. Well, that's all for my weekly whatever stream of World of Warcraft. If you like what you're seeing, please give me a follow if you haven't already. And, well, hopefully I'll see you tomorrow for more of my Final Fantasy XII LP. In any case, this has been Captain Alexander. See you later. Bye-bye. Before you go, it's time for me to find a raid target on Twitch and repair my gear for 27 silver out of the inhumanity.
Shine upon thee.
Back to Twitch. Pause. Anyone playing Xenogears? Yasu Bakuhatsu? Yeah, I'll just raid that person. Stream manager, raid channel, or Jasu Bakuha. I don't know how you pronounce it. Starting raid. Raiding now.